Who are you to call a snowflake? What is a snowflake in your definition? Do you know my circumstances? Do you know my past? Do you care? The reason why we have safeguarding is because people of previous generations in class thought they could get away with things. Because apparently that's what society agreed with. Did they? Because if my mother has a chance in hell, being a mixed race girl who was slightly slow, and then she took whatever happened, because in those days corporal punishment was around. But she wasn't able to stand up for herself or stick up for herself. No one stood up for her. And so she always now blames herself, and she, you know, becomes defensive and doesn't want, and kind of since her mother died, she thinks back at things that she may have said or people of that generation may have said, and sometimes I have to call her out because again, you cannot live in an echo chamber. When we call people, when people of a certain, whatever, left, middle, or right, end of the day, no generation is living the same generation as previous generations. And all those who have fallen out with their families, this is testament to that, and fallen out with their friends, have moved abroad because of how they feel that people are, and they don't get it. We really need to wake up. With this whole Brexit thing and what's happening internationally and how it resolves itself. Because ultimately, the very public themselves are going to have to make choices about what kind of governments they want to lead their lives. And this is not easy because, end of the day, just because you assume that they will back you doesn't mean to say they will, because someone with their own sense who are put in a position and they're going to have their own ways of thinking about that. This is the thing. This idea that you can, you know, assume that people will have your best interests at heart. This is something that I've always had to wrestle with because clearly they were selfish. Some of them were self-indulgent. Whataboutery. My life doesn't pause because their lives does, because it doesn't fit their narrative of gay, straight, bisexual, transgender, whatever. I'm 37 soon in a few months' time, but I have to make sure that I'm not lazy, speaking poetry or doing spoken word or writing a poem. I currently support a church locally, but I'm independent. Everything I do has always been independent, so I'm allowed to have my independent insight because I'm a writer also of the magazine. I've done YouTube announcements for the Jubilee that I did. So everything I've done now, and those in public who try to think they're more than me, I have to show, or my thing in reality doesn't work. I'm sorry. I know exactly who I am, what I stand for, and that's thanks to all the people that gave me love, supported me. I did not want to live a quotes conventional mainstream life because that wasn't me. I was put in a system where, some people just didn't want to be tested as adults. They didn't know how to take it. Well, I'm sorry. I've never followed anyone's tribe or whatever. I've always been myself. And as years have passed, it just reminds me I was right all along. This is Mark Kamara, challenging snowflake ideology or hitting out at those people because you don't know someone's trauma or the backlash that not understanding somebody else creates, because there's not always a comeback, and this can create problems and issues, and it can create divisions. And we have to somehow find a way. Yes, we have to have a sense of humour, or what's the point? In the other way, but then we've got to understand different people, or we'll just always be living in a divisive society. And I don't think any of us wants this. When we saw the Lionesses win again, regardless if they win the World Cup, you know they've had 2 wins. It's the inspiration these women have given to not just women but also LGBT people, that they can fight again. It's not too late. They can get it together, work with people, understand, educate themselves, and speak with other people that they know. Because you remember, believe it or not, my life has not just involved gay people or LGBT people. It involves all people, because I was created by a different sexuality. So I have to believe that, there is logic to things as the world does move on. This is Mark Kamara live.